Hey-o! Man, I jam hard to our intro music every time.
Yeah, you do.
It just gets me hyped. All the time. I am Ben.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Fantasy Chairmen podcast.
We are here.
We are here. We're doing things. We're talking football and fantasy and life. That's right, life. Fantasy life. Fantasy football. We're watching football because we're recording this on
where
Thursday.
Where are you going with this?
I wasn't sure.
Going?
I was just going somewhere. But it is Thursday night football right now.
And in the walk of life.
If you're hearing this, it's probably Friday. That's good. The San Francisco 49ers are rolling out a local California high school team against the Green Bay Packers tonight.
No, they got the replacements. It was a 1990s film, late 90s.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
John Wick was in it.
Yeah, John Wick. John Wick was the quarterback.
John Wick is the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers right now.
Yeah.
Just gunning.
And
literally gunning.
Iron Man's assistant was a linebacker.
John Favreau?
Yes.
Favreau. Currently just, getting The Mandalorian out there. Not a sponsor.
Love that show.
Oh, premiered last week.
Episode
2 tonight.
Season 2.
Because it's Friday. I'm releasing this on Friday, you see.
Okay, all right.
We're talking on Thursday.
You're talking future now.
But they're listeing to it on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Therefore...
What am I looking at here?
You're looking at... I don't even remember.
Now.
You're looking at now, sir. That's what it is. When will then be now? Soon.
What happened to then? It just went by. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon. Davante Adams is doing Davante Adams things again. Already scored a touchdown. Currently the end of the first quarter in this Thursday night football game that we are watching, that you already know the results of. He's probably racked up already 15 fantasy points already.
He's an animal.
He is an animal.
Aaron Rodgers just loves Davante Adams.
It's ridiculous.
And they're best buddies. They are best buddies. Aaron Jones was going to be questionable to go for the Thursday night game. Ended up going. They said they may use him sparingly. They were unsure. Aaron Jones has also been saying that he was ready to play 2 weeks ago when this calf strain first happened.
So far, the definition of sparingly for the Packers is give the first 4 plays of the game to Aaron Jones, and also I think he's touched the ball like 7 or 8 times in the first quarter already.
So
sparingly.
So there you go. Hopefully,
you think that was like Jurassic Park, spare no expense?
Spare no expense, exactly. So if you have Aaron Jones, hopefully you were keeping up with the info and realized that he was going to play. I'm going to be honest with you, Alex. I was very busy throughout the day again. I got to most of my leagues, but there was one I was unable to get to in time
to start Aaron Jones?
To put Aaron Jones in, and I'm highly upset about it.
Was it one of the ones that we co-owned?
No.
Okay.
No, good. It's not.
Those are priority
ones. This is a fun league. It's the Happy Fun Time League that you get crazy like bonuses, and those starting rosters are insane. There's only 6 people in it. It was, so when I set my lineup, if you're in the Happy Fun Time League and you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but it's a little lower on my priority list when it comes to setting my lineups. But anyway, we've got some NFL news for you. Alex has a little Keep Trade Cut segment. That we'll go through. And then we'll review our jackpot matchup of the week last week. Little meh again.
Little meh.
But then we'll go through our speed preview and get you into NFL Week 9.
And then we'll finish it up with some hot prop and lock it, and we'll get out of here.
That's it. All right, let's get into the news.
And now it's time for your NFL news.
All right, so first to kick things off, we've got a litany of players that are dealing with COVID-19 stuff.
Litany?
A litany, like that.
Wow. Plethora.
A plethora.
It's plethorable.
So one person that is on the COVID-19 list that was showing signs and symptoms is Andy Dalton.
Yes.
And let me tell you what, the Cowboys would like him back. I mean, right now he's been ruled out for Week 9, and the Cowboys are going to
Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush. And right now, sounding like Garrett Gilbert, former star quarterback of the XFL, the Orlando Apollos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was my team in the XFL.
The Apollos.
I love the Orlando Apollos, man.
Oh.
Garrett Gilbert tore it up.
There's been a number of players ruled out from their games due to close contact tracing.
Yep.
Specifically, this game going on right now, the Niners and the Packers. Jamal Williams,
Yep.
who's been
and A.J. Dillon.
Yep, Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon was the one that tested positive. Jamal Williams was
that's right. Yes.
deemed as a close contact, was deemed out. Matthew Stafford was deemed on the COVID-19 list due to close contact, so I don't think he's exhibiting signs and symptoms.
No, but he may have a chance to play just because of the 5-day window, the high contact or the high risk contact people. But he'll have to get cleared like Sunday morning in order to play.
Brandon Ayuk should have been playing in this game, but he was deemed a close contact for Kendrick Bourne, who was
tested positive. Right?
But they also tested him again this morning, and he tested negative, but he had already been deemed out. So it's just, it's wild right now. Wild times.
It's a mess.
This is a weird year,
It is a mess. Hey,
don't get me wrong. Thankful that we even get to see football and play fantasy football this year, but
we all knew that we were going to likely have to deal with this. And we talked, in your leagues, you talked about, having contingencies of, okay, are we going to have a championship? Are we going to deem a champion if we play less than 8 games or if there's 8 games or more? We officially hit that threshold that a lot of people set. If you do 8 weeks or more, then we will deem a champion for this season. So
I'm just saying.
We have that. We have football, and
I'm just saying.
You just got to deal with it.
The general statement. It is a weird year.
It is a crazy year.
It is a crazy weird year.
It's absurd.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
And it's hurting me in a lot of leagues.
Ain't complaining,
but
just saying.
But at the same time, I'm doing okay in some other leagues. So it's just wild.
Next bit of news, we got George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo put on the IR list. George Kittle dealing with a cuboid. Went a little Pokemon on you there. Cuboid fracture, which is in the foot, and
you never want to fracture your cubone.
Don't fracture the cubone. But the downtime that the doctors estimated for George Kittle was 8 weeks with this fracture. George Kittle said he'll be out for 2, but he was placed on IR, so he is essentially has to be out for at least 3. So we'll see how it goes. Jimmy Garoppolo, though, he had the high ankle sprain and came back and just has not seemed like himself at all. So
I think they hurried him back, and it sounded like he re-aggravated it or even like re-sprained it completely. So.
And they're talking possibly surgery for him. So I think he is season-ending IR.
I think so. Hence why I said there's a high school team out here going against the Packers.
Another player placed on IR, the short-term IR, 3 weeks, is Myles Gaskin, which was a surprise this week.
Oh, that was wild.
Sprained MCL, so
he's going to be out nowhere.
Yeah, tell me about it. He was on my team. I was like, man, I'm set for this week. I think in our big league, I was like, I'm going up against a pretty challenging team. I got a good lineup here, and then all of a sudden, bam, hit with that.
Yeah. Ugh. They traded for DeAndre Washington from the Kansas City Chiefs, like right before the trade deadline of the NFL, and that was just kind of a odd move. It was like, oh, that's interesting. Wonder if they're taking work away from Gaskin. Well, they are, because he is now on IR. So,
Kenny Golladay is going to be out this week for a hip injury. I haven't gotten a specific on what it actually is.
Yeah, I haven't seen much on it either.
But he has not been placed on IR yet, so maybe they think it could just be a 1-week deal then? possibly, or maybe just 1 to 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks, because I would assume if they thought it was going to be a 3-week ordeal, they just put him on IR.
You would think so.
So hopefully he can be back sooner rather than later. A couple of minor injury notes here. Ezekiel Elliott was listed with a hamstring injury.
Oh.
And
I missed that one.
Coach McCarthy said that he is optimistic that Zeke will play. They're just going to limit him in practice this week. And then a little while ago, I got a notification that Josh Jacobs is dealing with a knee injury and an illness.
Yep. Wow.
So that is not good timing on a Thursday.
No, it's not. You never like to see anybody dealing with any sort of injury, illness, anything like that this late in the week.
Yep. The high school football players are just dropping passes left and right out here for the Niners, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, that was...
If Josh Jacobs is deemed out, who, for the listeners, who would be somebody that you would recommend to go out and possibly pick up to replace him with?
Oh, man.
Because I'll be honest, this matchup between the Raiders and the Chargers, it was going to be my second nomination for jackpot matchup.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
you got Jalen Richard.
Yeah.
Or Richard, I don't know how.
Jalen Richard.
Oh, no.
And interception.
For the Green Bay Packers.
From the high school.
You got Richard. You got Devontae Booker.
DeAndre Booker. I think. No, that's wrong. Devontae Booker. Yeah, you're
DeAndre
right.
Washington used to be
there. Yeah, sorry.
Now he's with...
I had just thought about DeAndre Washington.
Devontae Booker. He was an ex-Bronco.
No, man. I know that. Devontae Booker, yes. Man, who else do they have there?
I think that's about it, so...
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have not paid much attention to what the backup running backs, what kind of workload they've been getting there with Josh Jacobs in. I know any time that I happen to be watching any Raiders games and I look up, I see Devontae Booker actually getting a few good runs. He's looked okay in the few snaps that he's received. And he's always been a pretty good pass catching back. The one thing that frustrated the heck out of me with Denver was that they would use him in those third down situations or in hurry up offense mode a lot. So, if I had to roll the dice on one, which I'm really hoping I wouldn't have to, I guess I would say Devontae Booker, but it's not with confidence.
It's funny. I think I would go with Richard just because
he's comfortable with the offense.
He's very comfortable with the offense, and I think Gruden's most comfortable with him too. So
I don't know. Anytime I've seen, Booker's looked pretty good, but
yeah. And if it turns into a true shootout, I think Richard will be more utilized in the passing downs.
They're both like pass catching backs, I think. So it's I don't know. Yeah.
I guguess personal preference at that point, but just keep your ears open for
I'm
further
recommending
news.
You don't go with either if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. And then last bit of news, the NFL trade line came and went on Tuesday. And, yeah, no real big deals went down. A lot of talk, but no real big-time moves.
There's a lot of talk of Will Fuller to the Packers, potentially. He even posted something on Twitter. It was a GIF of somebody just rolling their fingers on the desk as if he was waiting for something to happen. And
I saw that the Texans wanted a second or a third, and the Packers were willing to give up a sixth for him, and that was it. So,
yeah, I don't know. I guess it sounded like the Packers front office just couldn't decide on what they wanted to do.
If they wanted,
if a sixth was it, then. I mean, if I'm the Texans, I'm definitely not doing that either. I don't think.
No, not for a sixth.
Come on.
So that's all for news and notes.
That's it for the news. All right. Well, that's good stuff. Good stuff there, Alex. We're going to jump into your keep, trade, or cut segment here. All right. Let's hear it, man. What do we got?
Keep, trade, cut time. These are probably the most popular keep, trade, cut players coming up, but I kind of wanted to get your idea of what you would do, and then we'll give our best advice to the listeners here. So
week 9 now, we're going into the second half of the NFL season. For fantasy, this is worth mentioning. It's getting close to playoff time. Most playoffs start in week 13 or are done after. Sorry, regular season's done after week 13. Playoffs start week 14 for most typical leagues. But, some tournament type leagues and stuff, the playoffs are going to be starting in as early as week 10. Some tournaments that I've heard, maybe week 11, somewhere in there. So you probably want to start paying attention a little bit more towards schedules that are coming up now that we've had half a season to look and see what teams are doing, what players are doing, what kind of trends are set. Something to have in consideration when you're considering keeping a player, trading for, or trading a player away, or cutting a player. But it's getting to be that crunch time, that end of the regular season, man.
Yeah, one of the little tricks that I tend to try to do if I can is acquire players that already have their bye weeks gone by. Essentially, you're buying an extra game from a high-profile player there. So if you can, I'm not just saying to go swap out, a star player for another star player just because you're going to gain a bye week on them.
Right.
I'm saying if you can use that, to your advantage in a certain deal with players, then in a way you're buying yourself an extra game with those players.
Exactly. So. Yep. That's something that I always like to look at as well. If I can lose a bye week, get rid of a bye week somewhere in there.
You can avoid not having to bench a stud player on a bye week.
Yeah,
by all means.
Get somebody of equal or greater value and gain that extra week. Heck yeah. That's good stuff.
All right, keep, trade, cut time. And you'll notice a trend here with a lot of these players from a certain position that is quite challenging for fantasy players this year. So first one we got on the docket here is Ezekiel Elliott, running back for the Dallas Cowboys.
Man.
So I'll read you some stuff off here. He's currently the running back 4. He has 521 rushing yards on 132 attempts and 5 rushing touchdowns. He also has 220 receiving yards on 34 receptions off of 46 targets and 1 receiving touchdown. And his remaining schedule here for up to week 13 is Pittsburgh. He's got a bye week in week 10, Minnesota, Washington, Baltimore. Kind of a tough little schedule there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Keep, trade, or cut.
He has not had a good, what you expect from Ezekiel Elliott, good fantasy day since week 5 against the New York Giants. And the arrow just continues to point down on that Dallas offense. Oh, and man. that schedule that you pointed out too isn't all that great.
No, not really.
For running backs, it's
Minnesota's a nice matchup, but Pittsburgh, Washington, Baltimore, yikes.
And Minnesota's middling against running backs. Their secondary is pretty bad, but Washington's been pretty stout against the run. Pittsburgh, we know what they can do. So for Ezekiel Elliott, if I'm keep, trade, or cut, I'm not cutting him.
No,
he's getting enough volume and is going to still be probably the focal point of that offense just because he kind of has to be. So I'm definitely not cutting him, but I really don't want to keep him. With that schedule, with what's going on with him and with that offense, I don't want to keep him. And he's got a bye week. I'm trying to trade Ezekiel Elliott if I can, but what I'm trying to do is, if I can, is still just capitalize on the name Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm trying to package him with something else to try and upgrade my running back if possible. So if I can add Ezekiel Elliott to a high-end wide receiver 2, potentially, or a middling wide receiver 2 somewhere in there, package that and try to get a top 10 running back or something. I'm probably trying to do that. Somebody with an easier schedule ahead, or that, hasn't had has already had their bye week. If I can do that, then
what about the team that like Ezekiel Elliott was their big piece and they've got a bunch of holes on their team? I might suggest doing the opposite and maybe trying to turn Ezekiel Elliott into 2 viable pieces that you could plug 2 different holes on your starting roster.
Yeah,
if you can. I get you're probably not going to get
what you can get. If you can get something that's worth
that's doable, that you can roll out, that's better than your bench pieces, I would suggest doing that.
Yeah, you're not going to get the return of a top 10 running back packaged with a wide receiver 2 for Ezekiel Elliott anymore.
No,
that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get James Robinson plus I don't know, a good wide receiver 2 somewhere in there. You're not going to get like James Robinson, Adam Thielen for Ezekiel Elliott.
No way.
Maybe at the beginning of the season, that's something you could have done earlier on, but that's not happening anymore.
No, you're going to have to look at the likes of, man.
Right? It's tough with the running back landscape the way it is. If you could get like a Zach Moss and a good receiver.
I was going to say, if you could get like a DeAndre Swift and like a...
Yeah, there you go.
And like a Tyler Boyd or like a... some type of like a Corey Davis maybe.
Or T. Higgins in there too?
Or like a T. Higgins or something. Yeah, just something that's like a... they're probably the wide receiver 2 on their own team, but they still get good volume.
The volume and that they've got a connection with their quarterback, can put up points, can have those big weeks. Yeah, I could see doing that. Especially if you're...
Because I get it, the name Ezekiel Elliott, some people might still be hooked on it, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are still, wowed by the name because he has been one of the huge... it's posted everywhere, the disappointment and the disarray of the Dallas Cowboys offense right now.
Most of our leagues that we're in, that's not going to be able to happen. But, if you're just out there in a work league or...
You're trying to find a sucker at that point.
Something like that. Then, package Ezekiel with something and just see what you can upgrade to. Yeah. That's what I would try to do. I would do the shotgun method of, here's Zeke plus this guy, and then go out and just try to see what top 10 running back... If I could right now, and maybe we'll talk about this, but the Christian McCaffrey owner or the Nick Chubb owner... Right now, I would try to package Zeke with something and try to go get Nick Chubb or McCaffrey right now. Yeah. If you're in a good enough position to potentially afford a loss over the next week or whatever, I would try to do that.
Yeah, well,
if I'm the McCaffrey or Chubb owner,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that either.
Exactly.
Because our advice to the McCaffrey Chubb owner is...
We'll get to that. You're getting too far ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Right? We're getting to that. We're going to have to... speed it up a little bit. We spent way too long on Zeke there.
No, it was fun.
Next one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So he's currently the running back 9. He's got 572 rushing yards on 121 attempts, 2 rushing touchdowns. He's got 204 receiving yards, 25 receptions on 38 targets, 0 receiving touchdowns, which is kind of surprising. And his remaining schedule, he's got Carolina, bye week, Las Vegas, Tampa Bay, Denver. Now, the big thing about this one is the acquisition of Le'Veon Bell for the Chiefs.
Right.
So that's kind of the big question, but at the same time, the biggest question is we haven't seen really the usage between the 2 running backs, how the work's going to be divvied up, especially after last week. Last week was just weird. They got up so far so fast.
And then it was just Mahomes just kept throwing.
Yeah. It was weird.
It was all like deep. It was just all just burnt. Like, I'm burning Gaze's defense. Boom. I wonder if
Reed thought that Gase was thinking that they're going to try all they can to get Le'Veon a revenge game narrative. So
Gase was honing in on
So they prepared for the run like no other, and then Reed figured that he would assume that, so they just said, let's just torch him through the air, and they just
burn him.
Just flamethrower, which that's what they did.
That's exactly what they did, and it worked phenomenally.
So
Gaze is still coaching, by the way.
Yeah. Currently right now, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire's situation isn't ideal, but at the same time, like the running back landscape is so dire right now. that even a running back like Clyde Edwards-Helaire that might get 75% of the touches compared to Le'Veon's 25, or maybe even 60% to Le'Veon's 30%, in a high-octane offense like that that's super efficient, I think I still want to hang on to him and keep a piece of that offense.
Yeah, that's what
I keep falling back on anyways.
I would try to, yeah, I agree with that.
Unless you could get a king's ransom for him, which I doubt you can. But I mean, if for some reason somebody sent you an offer that was wild, then trade him. But
yeah, so that's, and maybe I'm cheating here, but I would say I would agree with that. You're obviously not cutting him. I would agree with keep, but I would also go to the fact of I'm not piecing Clyde Edwards-Helaire out, but again, I'm a shotgun method sort of trader. If I have depth at wide receiver, I'm trying to package Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a decent receiver to see if maybe I can go upgrade again. If somebody needs multiple people, if they need a running back and a wide receiver, or they're hurting at one of the positions, maybe you can go find somebody if they've got a stellar running back that's right up there at the top. Or, again, the McCaffrey or Chubb owner, like, add the two together and try to go and upgrade. But otherwise, I'm keeping.
Yeah, and personally, as a Edwards-Helaire owner myself, I mean, the league that I'm currently thinking about moving him in, I'm 3-5 right now, so it's not like I can take a week off,
Well, and that's
to acquire Chubb. I can't afford that. So.
Most all of this is situation dependent too.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're sitting at 6-2 or whatever, you've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You can afford a week where you can risk it.
You've got wide receiver depth. Then try to piece him together with something and go upgrade yourself and become dominant. Mm-hmm. But that's what I would try to do with him.
Next one, Jonathan Taylor. Man, talk about underperforming rookies. I really think, which I wouldn't have thought that for the running back position. I thought it would have been much easier to pick up, but I think that this offseason really threw the rookie running backs for a loop.
Yeah, we've seen the receivers thrive, which has been kind of odd.
Which I wonder if that is in part due to we estimate that the defenses were really going to struggle with the offseason. So I wonder if it's just easier for, like we said, the rookie wide receivers to just thrive in the offense because they're just calling, shot plays, or it's easier for the offense to function and the defense they're struggling trying to keep up and catch up. So
this was also just a stellar wide receiver class as well. So,
that as well.
I mean, just a bunch of superstars.
So Jonathan Taylor, he's currently running back 19. He's got 389 rushing yards on 100 attempts, 3 rushing touchdowns. He also has 171 receiving yards on 18 receptions and 19 targets for 0 touchdowns. Remaining schedule: Baltimore, Tennessee, Green Bay, Tennessee, Houston.
Okay. Not awful. You don't like Baltimore, but
no.
Man,
but the rest of it I like.
Gosh, dang! The problem with these guys are all kind of similar.
I know, that's why it's hard. Yeah, you gotta,
And so my thing is with the name of Elliott and the hype of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, maybe it's still lingering out there, and that's why I say try to package and trade up if you possibly can.
And I guess Taylor's dealing with an injury right now, too. It
sounds like he has somewhat of an ankle injury. Yeah. They weren't very specific, and they came out after that game and said that, which maybe brings you some relief as to why he wasn't hardly used at all when everybody was predicting he would get the usage after the bye week.
When guys like Wilkins and Hines were going off.
Oh, my gosh. So, gosh, dang it. Obviously, you're not cutting him, but
I'm realizing none of these people are going to be cuts.
Well, yeah, exactly. The other thing is just with the way the running back situation is unless you can trade for a running back,
you can't afford to give one up. It's like
you just got to keep.
You can't afford to give one up unless you're getting one in return.
Keep
that's usable.
Unless you can trade up at the running back position.
Yep.
If you can manage to do that, then that's my advice for all these running backs right now. Mm-hmm. Unless you can manage to package and trade up to upgrade the position, you're keeping these guys. And you just kind of have to roll with the punches and hope that it gets better. Otherwise, shoot.
All right. Next one, we got Lamar Jackson. First quarterback here. Quarterback number 14. He's got 1,343 yards on 115 completions off of 190 attempts, 12 throwing touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He also has 411 rushing yards on 66 rushes and 2 rushing touchdowns. His remaining schedule, Indianapolis, New England, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Dallas.
Dallas is nice.
Yeah, and New England might not be as scary as it used to be.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Alex, I'm not going to cut Lamar Jackson.
No, I don't think anybody will, but...
So we could just call this segment Keep or Trade.
I'm realizing I probably should have adjusted this.
Oh, it's all good. Lamar Jackson is tough because...
I think you would have a better chance currently right now of trading Lamar Jackson and getting a better return than you would Ezekiel Elliott, honestly.
I would probably. I would agree with that as well. But yeah, it's all situation dependent, man. And I currently have Lamar Jackson in our League of Origin, where I am 1-7, having a really, really rough year. And I'm kind of just sitting at the point. I'm out to slay giants right now. Like
I talked to Ben about him, and Ben essentially said that I'm just burning with my team.
I'm burning with them. Unless I can upgrade somewhere again. So this is another. I would, if I could package Lamar Jackson with something to upgrade at another position or whatever, then I would do that. But that's not happening for me in our league. I've tried it. I've shotgunned all sorts of different things out there, and it's just not happening. So I'm keeping Lamar Jackson, and I'm rolling with the punches. If you can upgrade your quarterback position right now to, honestly, might be kind of weird, but Carson Wentz has been pretty good for fantasy purposes, although he's been getting ragged on and hasn't had weapons and things like that. If I could maybe trade Lamar Jackson for Carson Wentz.
Just straight up?
Might consider that. I mean, just with the way it's been going, man. Or Lamar Jackson for Tom Brady.
Maybe. I guess if you really needed it, but
I still love Lamar Jackson's rushing floor.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Tom Brady, I could probably, I might do that as well, but the Carson Wentz, I wouldn't do Carson Wentz. Lamar Jackson's ceiling is still way higher than Carson Wentz. Like, I get it that Wentz has been performing better than Jackson as of late, but man.
I'm just saying it's consideration. If you don't believe that Lamar Jackson's going to turn it around passing-wise, then...
Well, yeah, you got to make the call
probably
yourself.
Go trade him. I personally am keeping Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to trade him straight up for any quarterback unless it's obviously for like Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson, but nobody's going to do that. So me personally, I'm keeping Lamar and just rolling with it and hoping that he flips it around.
You heard it here, folks. He just advised to maybe trade Lamar for Wentz or Brady, but he just said that he won't let go of Jackson.
No, I'm telling you what I'm doing in my league right now. I'm keeping Lamar Jackson. But if you don't believe that he's going to turn it around, then go out and maybe try to trade straight up for one of those guys.
All right, last one here, and then we'll just have some quick hitters. Last one, Mike Evans, wide receiver 19, currently has 373 receiving yards on 30 receptions, 46 targets, and he has 7 receiving touchdowns. Remaining schedule, New Orleans, Carolina, LA Rams, Kansas City, and a bye week in week 13.
Try to use the name to trade Mike Evans to maybe get more pieces to fill in for gaps that you might have otherwise. Or add Mike Evans in with Ezekiel Elliott to upgrade significantly at the running back position. So if you have Mike Evans and Ezekiel Elliott, package those two together and go out and get a star, stud right now.
I think if you can find a lateral wide receiver like Mike Evans style, trade him.
That'd be good too, for sure.
Maybe even a step below slightly, like Mike Evans for Brandon Ayuk.
Ooh, yeah.
I would take Ayuk, I think, right now.
Yeah. You could probably try to see if somebody would package something with Ayuk.
Yeah, get even a little bit more. Mike Evans for...
I mean, Mike Evans, what 5 for 55 and a touchdown this last week? I mean, he's still been scoring touchdowns, but with the addition of Antonio Brown coming in, and once Chris Godwin gets healthy, you're never going to know. You're never going to know. And
it's going to be frustrating.
And Mike Evans just gives you those goose egg weeks.
Yep.
And then, or you never know, he could score 2 touchdowns.
Would you trade Mike Evans for like
2
an
yards
injured...
and 2 receptions?
I mean, honestly, it depends on your situation, but would you trade Mike Evans for like, say, a Kenny Golladay? Go out there and try and get a Kenny Golladay for Mike Evans?
Yeah, I'd probably try to do that.
Try and capitalize on like an injured player.
I would probably try to do that.
That you would rather have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think Kenny Golladay, once he's back and healthy, is probably going to have the better second half of the season, and it's going to be volatile with Evans.
And I have Kenny Golladay on my League of Origin team. Honestly, if somebody came at me with Mike Evans, I'd probably have to think on that for a little while with my situation.
For sure. I mean, because you need somebody active right now.
Exactly.
With, being down a couple games and trying to get into the playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, here's some quick hitters and
real quick,
and you'll notice that they're all running backs. So,
oh jeez,
I guess trade or keep Nick Chubb.
Keep.
Trade or keep Austin Eckler.
Keep.
Trade or keep Miles Sanders.
Oh, keep.
Trade or keep Joe Mixon.
And unless you can upgrade, like unless you can upgrade, quick keep.
Trade or
I'm just gonna say keep on all these.
Okay, never mind then.
The running back landscape.
Chubb, for my call, folks. Chubb keep, Eckler keep, Sanders keep, Mixon trade as long as you get a good like we talked about, a running back that's viable and something decent.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyon Drake trade, Christian McCaffrey keep, Aaron Jones keep.
Yeah, yeah, and for those like McCaffrey, Eckler, Chubb, if you've been hanging on to him this long, you're going to get them back at some point. So unless you get something that just completely blows the doors off for them, you're keeping them, and you're going to get them back healthy, hopefully here soon, and be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
that's it.
Our jackpot.
It was keep trade, no cuts.
Keep
I think
trade.
Next time for the keep trade cut, I'll just list 3 players, and you have to keep one, trade one, or cut one.
Yeah,
I'll have to do that next time.
No, I like that. That'd be good.
Won't be next week, but the next time.
The next time we do it. All right. Well, our jackpot matchup this last week, Alex, we had the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you here real quick. There's a little bit
of going on.
Breaking news. The Raiders have the first COVID violation fine.
Whoa.
Well, actually, as a team organization.
Well, I guess the Titans, didn't they get a fine, though?
Yeah, no, they didn't actually. But like the Seahawks got one, like Pete Carroll got one because his face mask was down. But this one is the most significant so far. Las Vegas fined $500,000. John Gruden fined $150,000, and the team is stripped of a 6th-round pick for their linebacker or their lineman that tested positive, came back, was good to go for 6 days, and then tested positive again.
Oh.
So,
interesting.
NFL,
wow.
They're laying down the hammer.
They're laying it down now. That's
big fine.
You don't want to have to deal with that, losing a draft pick too.
Yeah, 6th-rounder.
Not good at all. Jeez. All right. Well, that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our jackpot matchup last week was the Bengals versus the Titans, and ended up being 51 total points scored in that game. You had Ryan Tannehill that had a day, 17.32 fantasy points. Joe Burrow was kind of the same thing with 18.86. Giovanni Bernard cashed in.
Those kind of days, though, they won't kill you. Those are
no,
good. Those are fine days.
I mean, I'll take those I mean, you're hoping for a little bit more when in what you think is going to be a kind of a shootout type game like that. But Giovanni Bernard had a good day, 21.3 fantasy points.
Helped me to no avail.
Yeah, unfortunately. He scored 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Samaje Perine forgot he was still playing.
Yeah, he vultured a touchdown.
Vultured a touchdown from Bernard there. Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things, 112 yards and a touchdown. That was only on 18 carries.
Only.
17.2 fantasy points there. And then Corey Davis had himself a day, 128 receiving yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd had a good day, 16.6 points. T. Higgins, pretty good day, 11.4. Auden Tate had 7 receptions for 65 yards and 10 points. A.J. Green, slightly disappointed after picking it up the previous 2 weeks.
And A.J. Brown had 10.4 points. A touchdown kind of bailed him out, but it kind of sounded like the Bengals were focusing on Brown. So
Yeah, for sure. Johnny Smith was disappointing in this game, 3.9 fantasy points. He's been down the last several weeks.
I think that's just with Corey Davis coming back now. I don't know.
Corey Davis, Ferkser, I mean, he had 2 receptions as well. Actually had more targets, 3 targets, and more yards, 36 as compared to Johnny Smith's 29. So, man, I don't know. Johnny was tearing it up there at the first few weeks of the season. Hopefully he gets back to it, but makes you nervous. All right, Alex. It's time for a speedy preview.
Yeah. We've spent a long time.
We're just going to go through the matchups, the games going on Sunday here. Obviously, the Packers 49ers played last night because you're listening to this on Friday. So hopefully you
played those people that you should have played.
Yeah, hopefully you played all the guys that did well last night.
Yes.
And you did good things. All right, for our first matchup here, we've got the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars now turning to Jake Luton. Fire up that chainsaw. Bring. Oregon State Beavers. We'll see what he's got, but I'm nervous about all pass catchers in this game. James Robinson, you probably got to downgrade just a little bit, but you're obviously playing him. He's still going to get volume. On the Texan side, fire up Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson, David Johnson. If you need or if you're hurting at tight end, take a flyer maybe on Jordan Akins. I think he's going to be back this week. Randall Cobb, if you're desperate at a flex, I guess. But Jaguar side, I'm kind of trying to pivot away if I can from all the pass catchers.
Yeah, especially with Luke. Yeah, you have no idea what it's going to look like. I mean, if you have like DJ Chark, you kind of have to start him. But if you have an option to pivot away, I would try to pivot away to see what it looks like.
Start the Texans defense.
Oosh, yeah.
I think. We'll see what Jake Luton's got.
Next matchup, we got the New York Giants going up against the Washington football team. Giants side the ball. Man, I don't even know who's going to be at the running back position.
Yeah.
Devontae Freeman sounds like he's working his way back. He might be available for Sunday, but so keep an eye on that. If not, Wayne Gallman might be a possibility.
Yeah, I started Wayne Gallman this last week, and he did all right.
Receivers on the Giants, Sterling Shepard, probably start him.
Yeah, I'd feel
Darius
pretty
Slayton,
good about Sterling Shepard.
He had an all right game last time they played Washington, so probably be able to fire him up too. And Evan Ingram in the tight end landscape, you probably have to start him.
Finally did something this last week
He
too,
did.
so that's
Washington side of the ball. The only people I'm really for sure firing up is Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. That's about it.
Yeah, maybe
Logan
Thomas
Maybe.
Again with the way the tight end landscape is.
Yeah,
it's usually just a blind dart throw,
It
regardless.
is. When you get into that level of it, yeah.
It's most tight ends now. It feels like it's almost a blind dart throw, man.
It's
crazy
once you get to a certain point.
Baltimore Ravens versus the Indianapolis Colts. It's a battle of two good defenses here, so I would expect maybe a lower scoring game in this one. Obviously, starting Lamar Jackson. Marquise Brown, maybe
He was chirping on social media.
He was,
this week,
so maybe we see the squeaky wheel get the grease. Hopefully, but if you are starting him, you're putting him into a flex. And
looks like Marquez Valdez-Scantling just caught a bomb from Aaron Rodgers right there.
Yeah, start Marquez Valdez-Scantling this week. No, but you're starting Mark Andrews, obviously. Of the running backs, I'm feeling pretty good about J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Mark Ingram, I think, is out again.
I think as long as Ingram's out, you can feel somewhat all right.
Edwards and Dobbins both looked good, looked explosive this last week. So I think you could probably feel good about flexing Edwards, starting Dobbins there. Colts side of the ball, not really feeling good about any of the pass catchers. Trey Burton, could probably plug him into the tight end. And then of the running backs, I guess kind of the same thing as Dobbins and Edwards. Flex consideration for both Hines and is Jonathan Taylor going to be healthy?
I don't know yet. That's the thing. You gotta watch that. I'm not sure if he's going to be deemed in or out.
I guess you can try to plug in any of the three of them and just hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Ugly.
All right, next matchup, we got the Lions at the Vikings. On the Lions side of the ball, it's a nice matchup for them with the receivers.
Yeah.
So Marvin Jones, probably start up Marvin Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Matthew Stafford can get cleared for Sunday's game, but if not, then man, I almost want to stay away from all the wide receivers.
It's Chase Daniel who's going to be the backup. So we've seen Chase Daniel be usable. I mean, be a decent.
He's not going to be a world
quarterback,
beater,
but no. But
so,
you know, I think you can still probably feel okay about flexing Marvin Jones, but you're definitely not feeling as good about it.
Mm-hmm. DeAndre Swift, I'm feeling all right, starting him up as well.
Yeah.
T.J. Hawkinson, I think he's going to be a good start as well.
Yeah, big piece of this offense.
Mm-hmm. On the Viking side of the ball, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, you're firing up all of those guys.
For sure. Probably staying away from either of the tight ends.
Yeah, don't even play with them.
Could probably fire up Kirk Cousins, 2 QB league if you need to. But
yeah.
All right, Chicago Bears versus the Tennessee Titans here. Start Ryan Tannehill, start A.J. Brown, start Corey Davis, start Derrick Henry. Hopefully Jonnu can turn it around. I think the Bears are actually fairly weak against tight end. But you're not feeling as comfortable with Jonnu anymore. But again, blind dart throws with the tight ends. So if I've got him on my team, I'm probably starting him. On the Bears side of the ball, the Titans, they did just trade for Desmond King, but I don't think Desmond King's going to be able to play here. Nope. The Titans have not been great in the secondary, so I'm not starting Nick Foles in a 1 QB league, but in a super flex deep league, probably feel all right starting Nick Foles. Start Allen Robinson, obviously, and then you've got to start David Montgomery simply on volume, and then probably Jimmy Graham as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Panthers at the Chiefs. This could potentially be a high-flying game right here. On the Panthers side of the ball, this might be the comeback game for Christian McCaffrey. So if he's available, definitely fire him up.
Oh, yeah. And don't worry about any limitations.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just do it.
In the lineup.
Robbie Anderson, I would fire him up as well. DJ Moore, I think he's a good consideration play.
Yeah.
It's kind of hit or miss with him. Usually Robbie Anderson's a more for sure play. Mike Davis, man, maybe a flex consideration, just kind of, but I would rather bench him just to see what the workload division will be.
If McCaffrey's back, then I'm probably just staying away from Mike Davis completely.
So Teddy Bridgewater could be a streamer play for
chasing the points on Curtis Samuel.
No, I'm not chasing the points on Curtis Samuel.
Me neither.
I think they got away with some lucky plays there, and his run, that was just it was a big hole.
Been very gadget, and McCaffrey likely to be back.
Chief side of the ball, Pat Mahomes,
everybody,
Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You could flex Le'Veon Bell. Forgetting Travis Kelce. Start Travis Kelce too.
Like I said, start everybody. McCole Hardman got a little more usage last week.
It's so hit or miss,
though. It really is. So I mean, he's that one-touch man.
Yep.
All right. And this matchup, we've got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Buffalo Bills. Hey, it's a jackpot! Oh! It's a jackpot!
Jackety jackpot.
All right. We know about the Seahawks and their secondary and what they give up to the wide receivers. So you're feeling great about Buffalo Bills wide receivers in this one. Josh Allen, the last few games has not looked like the way he did the first few games, but I'm thinking we see that change in this one a little bit. I feel like this is going to be pretty explosive on both sides.
There's nothing better for a struggling quarterback than a bad defense to right the ship.
To right the ship. Yeah. Against a team that has an explosive offense and a bad defense.
Yes.
That's a perfect way to right the ship. So firing up Stephon Diggs. I'm firing up John Brown. I'm probably flexing Cole Beasley. Of the running backs there, I think you can flex Zach Moss.
I think you can flex both
potentially, of them. Yeah. Devin Singletary as well. Seahawks side of the ball, obviously Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson. If he's back and healthy, you start him if he's in the game. If not, it sounds like Travis Homer's okay, like he's healthy now. And you could probably, if that's the case, Carlos Hyde's already been ruled out. If Chris Carson is out, you can probably flex both Homer and DJ Dallas, but I'm a little bit more.
I think Dallas might get the early work, and then Homer would get like the passing down.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. So risky flex plays there if Chris Carson's out. But yeah, try to get in on this game. Mm-hmm. This will be a good one.
All right, next matchup we got Broncos at the Falcons. Broncos side of the football there. You're starting up Melvin Gordon. I think this will be a good matchup for him. Is Philip Lindsay, he had a toe injury, is that right?
It sounded like there was some sort of toe injury. That's what he came back from, though, too. So may have.
I did see he's had limited practices already, so that's a good sign. Just keep an eye on that. Yeah. But if Philip Lindsay's able to go, I think he's a good flex piece in this one.
I think they're just trying to monitor it. So
Jerry Jeudy, I would fire him up in this one with this Falcons secondary that lets some wide receivers score on them. KJ Hamler could be a sneaky little flex play as well.
Saw him get the game winner last week.
Yeah, Noah Fant. I'd start up Noah Fant as well. And if you need a streamer quarterback, Drew Lock might be available, possibly.
Yeah. Hopefully plays like he did in the fourth quarter.
Falcons side of the ball, you're probably starting Matt Ryan. You probably don't have a better option than Matt Ryan.
If Julio Jones playing, you play Matt Ryan.
Hayden Hurst, probably don't have a better tight end option than Hayden Hurst. Calvin Ridley, don't know. He hasn't practiced yet this week. Keep an eye on him.
I think he's going to be out. I'm assuming he's going to be out.
So we'll see. Those can be tricky to come back from. If no Ridley, Russell Gage might be an option.
Yeah. So. The Broncos give up points to wide receivers. They're pretty good against the run, so not feeling great about Todd Gurley. But if you have Todd Gurley, you're probably stuck starting him. So, I mean... Yeah, you're not going to sit Todd Gurley, but I would lower expectations. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers on the Raiders side of the ball. I don't know. I'm staying away from Derek Carr, but Henry Ruggs, if you need just an explosive kind of Mecole Hardman style thing, kind of the same with Nelson Aguilar too, and just hope you get lucky. You can plug them into a flex and hope you get that deep bomb, which we've seen the Chargers give up some deep passes. Mm-hmm. If Josh Jacobs is in, you're starting Josh Jacobs, but monitor that knee and illness situation there. And we talked about Devontae Booker or Jalen Richard. Risky flex plays for either one of them. Darren Waller, fire up Darren Waller on the Chargers side of the ball. Starting Justin Herbert. That man is on fire.
You have to.
We saw Justin Jackson actually have a pretty decent game.
You did say Darren Waller for the Raiders,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't listening.
Okay.
You start Darren Waller. Justin Jackson actually had himself a pretty good game. I think he had 18 carries against Denver there. Mm-hmm. So you could probably feel good about flexing Justin Jackson. Hunter Henry, start him up at the tight end position, and then Keenan Allen, obviously. And Mike Williams, we saw him make another sick catch in the end zone against Denver this last week. So he's boom or bust, but I'd probably flex Mike Williams unless you got something better there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dolphins versus the Cardinals is our next matchup right here. Dolphins side of the ball, it was kind of weird. First Tua Tagovailoa game there. Yeah. So I think there were some jitters for sure. So Devontae Parker, you probably don't have a better option than him. I'm still probably starting Parker up. Gesicki, I'm staying away from Gesicki really until I can see a better rapport with him and Tua.
Yeah.
Preston Williams is an option as well. The Dolphins did trade away Isaiah Ford, so I think Preston Williams might get some more playing time. The running backs for the Dolphins, I have no idea. Matt Breida.
I don't think Breida's going to play.
Yeah, he had a hamstring injury that he's been held out of practice 2 straight days here. So, man, if it's between Jordan Howard, Patrick Laird, I'm just staying away from it, honestly, if I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cardinals side of the ball, DeAndre Hopkins, of course, Kyler Murray, heck yeah. Chase Edmonds, firing him up with Kenyon Drake down.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people saying Chase Edmonds is going to take this job and not give it back to Drake when he comes back. So we'll see.
There's a lot of talk about that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And then Christian Kirk, I think he's a good flex play as well.
Yeah, he's been picking it up recently for sure. A little bit more rapport with Kyler Murray there. Yeah, he's looked pretty good. I like it. All right, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Start all your Steelers. All of them.
Pretty much.
Ben Roethlisberger, Eric Ebron, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, James Conner. Start them all.
Start them all.
Start them all. The Dallas Cowboys defense is awful. So bad. I can't stress it enough. Start.
I really
all your
wanted this
Steelers.
to be a jackpot matchup, but the Cowboys offense is not going to be able to keep up.
It's not the same. I'm not feel. You probably have to start Amari Cooper. Yeah, you likely don't. I don't know. I mean. I'm not starting CeeDee Lamb. I'm not starting Michael Gallup. I'm not starting Dalton Schultz.
No.
I'm not.
I think Cooper and
you have
Zeke
to start
are the only
Ezekiel
people.
Elliott if you have him. But
and
that's
remember,
it.
He's nursing a hamstring injury, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, pay attention to that. So that's about it there.
Yeah. Saints and Buccaneers is our next matchup. This is a Sunday night game on the Saints side of the ball. Of course, you're firing up Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, I think, is going to come back in this game. So
finally,
yeah, that'll be good to see him back.
Yeah, hope so.
I think Jared Cook is a good tight end to play as well.
Yep.
Especially if this turns out into a shootout. Emmanuel Sanders could be a flex option as well. He's able to come back from the COVID list. He's practicing. And then Drew Brees. I mean, if you want to, you can. If it's a shootout, it would be good to have Brees, but if not, then you definitely don't want him. He doesn't really give you a whole lot on the ground to help boost your squad. So
not too much.
Buccaneers side of the ball, you're starting Tom Brady. I would probably still start Mike Evans this week. Antonio Brown, I think I'm just going to jump right in with him and fire him up. Why not?
Start him, man.
Just start him.
We saw it happen when he went to New England with Brady.
Yep.
You're probably going to see it again.
Yep. Antonio Brown. I'd probably fire up Leonard Fournette and then Ronald Jones, maybe a flex piece, but man, the running backs there scare the crud out of me. I mean,
right now.
If Leonard Fournette puts the ball on the ground, guess who's going to be in the game the rest of the game? Ronald Jones. Until Ronald Jones puts the ball on the ground. Vice versa.
We'll see if Arians goes back to Rojo as the go-to guy. If he was just getting, I guess, air quotes, punished for the fumble last week, but I don't know. Yeah. Start Gronkowski too.
Also start Gronk, yeah,
for sure. All right, and the Monday night game, we've got the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets, and what's bound to be just a trash game. Completely.
Straight trash.
You could probably put Cam Newton in a super flex, but I don't know, man. Maybe flex Jacoby Myers. Is N'Keal Harry going to be back? I haven't heard.
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't heard much about N'Keal Harry. I'm probably not starting any Patriots wide receivers, to be completely honest.
No.
On the running back side, probably starting Damian Harris. He looked good.
I did just see that Sony Michel just got activated off IR, so that's going to muddy it even more.
Of course, Belichick's going to Belichick.
Yep.
I guess maybe flex Damian Harris.
Yeah, you might be able to flex Damian Harris and
Sony
and James White.
Ugh, I don't.
Ugly.
Honestly, I just want to stay away from this game. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I want to stay away from this game. Is Jamison Crowder going to be back?
I haven't seen if he's practiced yet.
I think he may have been limited today, but I can't say that for certain.
Mm-hmm.
If Jamison Crowder's back, start him.
And that's it.
There's not much to this game. I might not be watching football on Monday, Alex.
Denzel Mims is just someone to keep an eye on. If he and Sam Darnold start to find connection, Denzel Mims could be someone to watch.
He'll get you 45 yards exactly and call it good.
Lamichael Perrine as well is somebody to keep an eye on.
Sorry, it's Lamichael Pirine.
Oh, sorry.
Lamichael Pirine. Anyway, that'll do it for preview for NFL Week 9. And we're going into Hot Prop and Lock It, Alex. We're going to keep a quick Hot Prop and Lock It here, brought to you by our friends at Thrive Fantasy. Hashtag prop up with Thrive Fantasy this Sunday. Get into those fantasy games where you pick the over-under on player props, set your fantasy lineup, and go against other players to win some money.
Yeah, money.
And right now, if you sign up with Thrive Fantasy using the code Fantasy Chairmen or just Chairman, CHAIRMEN, then they will match up to $50 on your first deposit of $20 or more. Use the promo code Fantasy Chairman or simply Chairman, and they will match up to $50 on your first deposit of $20 or more. Find them on the App Store or the Google Play Store today, or visit their website, www.thrivefantasy.com. And last week in Hot Prop and Lock It, Alex, I gained one on you, and I pulled one away from Matt, the Fantasy Sasquatch. Currently, you are still leading with 21. I'm at 19, and Matt is sitting at 17. The props we had last week were really quickly Patrick Mahomes, 300.5 passing yards. We thought this game was going to be run scripted against the Jets, and
turns out
Mahomes shattered the over on that one. We both said under, so Matt the Squatch got that one correct. We got it wrong. Amari Cooper, 5.5 receptions. I thought he was just going to get heavily targeted from DiNucci there, and he got 5 targets, 1 reception. So you were correct on the under. Matt and I missed the over on that one. Russell Wilson, 24.5 completions, ended up with 27 completions. Matt and I were correct on the over. You were incorrect on the under. Mark Andrews, 57.5 receiving yards. He ended up with, I think, 37. You and the Squatch were incorrect with the over. I got it correct with the under. And then Jarvis Landry, 0.5 receiving touchdowns. You and I were correct with the under. Matt was incorrect with the over. So in total, Alex, you got 2 correct. I was 3 correct, and Matt was 2 correct.
You were under on the Jarvis touchdown?
When Matt gave me the over, I thought that I had said over, but then when I looked at it today, I was like, oh, I said under on that.
I thought I got one up on
I thought you did.
Both of you guys.
I thought you did too, because I was thinking I had said over on that one. But no, it said the under here. So I was like, oh, cool. Saved me.
Jeez.
That's awesome. All right, week 9. We've got some interesting ones.
Oh, did you notice, by the way, the Russell Wilson one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to go back and say, and then...
I had already entered it. I told you I would change it, and you told me no.
Oh, you can't do it.
Yeah, we'll all cry about it later. It's fine. All right. For week 9, we've got some interesting ones. Somebody who hopefully is going to be back this week. We will have to change this if he's not. But Christian McCaffrey, 75.5 rushing yards. Alex, 75.5 rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey going up against the Chiefs. What say you, sir?
Oh, you want me to go first on this one?
I'll go first on this one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go...
What are you going to say? 75.5 rushing yards, Alex.
Give me the over. They're waiting. They've been waiting to use him, and they want to make sure that he's ready to go. He's good to go.
I'm going to say under on this one. I think he gets about 60 or so rushing yards, plus another 60 or so receiving yards, along with a rushing touchdown.
Would it change your mind if you knew that the Carolina passing offense, the passes to the running backs, has gone down by 30% this year versus last year?
That's okay. It's Christian McCaffrey.
That's true.
I think he's going to get some receiving yardage. All right, next one we've got Tua Tagovailoa, 20.5 completions. There's some fun ones on Thrive this Sunday. I'm telling you what, it's gonna be interesting against the Cardinals, and I'm first on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and say the over with Tua on this one, going up against the Cardinals. I think Tua's just gonna sling it.
I'm going to say over as well. I think it might.
Like it.
I think the Cardinals are going to have to. Well, the Dolphins are going to have to throw to keep up with the Cardinals.
And who knows what their running game is going to look like right now without Myles Gaskin and potentially Matt Breida.
No kidding.
We'll see.
Glad I spent that fab money on Breida.
Yeah, for real.
Maybe next week.
Oh, man. All right, next one we got here. Antonio Gibson, 70.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Antonio Gibson going up against the New York Giants. 70.5 rushing plus receiving yards.
Over for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't go contrarian with you on this one. I'm taking the over on that. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Antonio Gibson now, and I think he's going to continue to get more usage. And I think they're gonna.
I'm kind of hoping that all these running backs, kind of towards these rookie running backs, anyways, towards the second half, coaches start to feel more comfortable with them, start to let them loose a little bit.
They get a feel for the season and start to. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. Man, this one might be too easy. DK Metcalf, 3.5 receptions. I'm smashing the over on that.
Well, the big thing is he may possibly be shadowed by Tre'Davious White. So that's why it's
true.
That's why it's at that line.
That's true. I'm still smashing the over on it. I think we'll see DK get at least 4 receptions.
I'm gonna do the over as well, but I think.
But I'm gonna hedge my bet.
I think Tyler Lockett has the bigger day of the two.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I could agree with that. All right, and our last one here, we've got Deshaun Watson. 284.5 passing yards going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 284.5 passing yards.
Over.
Give the over. All right. I'm gonna go the under on that one. I don't know that it's gonna take Deshaun Watson, but this was the same reasoning for Patrick Mahomes last week though too.
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna take Deshaun Watson 285 plus yards to do in the Jacksonville Jaguars here.
It's not, but what do they score on? Huge plays.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Well, I put in the under. I'm sticking with the under. So there we go. And we'll get the Fantasy Sasquatches picks at a later time here. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you to our friends at Thrive Fantasy.
Thank you.
Hashtag prop up with Thrive Fantasy this Sunday. I'll be in there. Come play against me.
Ooh.
All right. That does it, Alex. On to week 9. We're here. We're doing it.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody, in week 9.
Packers winning 21-3 at the top of the third quarter here. See if the replacements can do much of anything.
See if John Wick can sling it to Rhodey.
All right. Follow us on social media on Twitter at Chairman Fantasy, at FindFF Leagues, and at Fantasy Squatch. On Instagram at Fantasy Chairman Pod.
Download, rate, and review us on all your podcast listening devices: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube,
iHeartRadio.
The rate and reviews help us out a lot, people.
That's right. Get in there. Give us some words, some constructive criticism. Even we'll take it.
Let us know what you think.
Rates, reviews, listens. We love it all, and we love you, and we love football, and we will see you next time.
Mm-hmm.
Week 9!
It's here.
It's the second half of the season. We've done it!
We're on the downhill slope.
Appreciate it, people. We have football. Goodbye.
You're better than that!
Falco.
Hey, Alex.
What?
So when you're on a boat and you're on like a rocky ocean, and you're drifting out to sea, what's the best way to keep your boat like sturdy and just staying still?
Oars?
No, not even close. You throw out your anchor.
Oh, your anchor. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You throw out your anchor. You know what I like to do to keep my podcast steady and just sturdy while everything else seems to be rocky and wavy around me?
Not oars, right?
Not oars. It's Anchor again.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Anchor.fm. Let me explain. This app is free, completely free to host your podcast on.
Like 100% free?
100% free. And you get unlimited storage for all your episodes.
Unlimited?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
As Russell Wilson would say.
Yes.
That's right. It's also got creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
Well, I'm all about that.
I know. And it also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on the likes of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them.
What's not to like?
It's great. You can even make money from your podcast, Alex.
And we're all about that.
And you don't need minimum listenership. So,
that's good.
That's a real good thing. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You need to download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I'm getting right on it right now.
Keep your boat and your podcast sturdy.